Harley-Davidson has just turned the page onto a new chapter in its 120-year-old history with this new ground-up motorcycle. This is the new Harley-Davidson X440. Yes, it is the motorcycle that has just launched at a starting price of 2,29,000 rupees. There are 3 models on offer. This effectively is the most affordable Harley-Davidson India has ever seen. And yes, this is the top spec variant. There are 3 models on offer. The top spec S variant will set you back by a good 2,69,000 rupees. All new engine, all new motor. Well, for a matter of fact, this has been almost 50 years since Harley-Davidson. You are going to see an engine, a single-cylinder engine bearing the Harley-Davidson badge since the late 1970s. Now, what is this motorcycle all about? We have a limited time to check it out. So without wasting any more time, let's get right to it.
Beginning with the X440's design. Now, first up, this bike is designed to be your entry-level, everyday roadster. A slightly above average one at that. Now I know looks are subjective and the front of this motorcycle does look beefy with the LED lights. Oh yeah, they're at both ends. Then there's the chunky wheels, the wide handlebar that gives it this nice brawny shoulders kind of thing. And then you have the nice big 13.5 litre tank, all a visual delight. More so on the base model, according to me, because with its spoke wheels, well, I quite fancy the look of that one compared to the mid-spec Vivid and the top-spec S trim variants. Because, to be honest, I'm not a taker for the design of those alloys on the more expensive variants. Like the tank, all 3 trim variants get metal body panels and fenders too. But on all 3 variants, there's no shying away from that rear section, which is sure to make more than a few babies cry at the mere sight of its design. And then there's that colossal exhaust can, which is a sight. It has hints of Hero commuter motorcycle written all over it. But Harley say that last exhaust bit was a bit of a compromise in order to attain the HD-esque thump, which honestly doesn't sound anywhere close to the unmistakable thump of any of the company's twins in the modern past, but it's definitely a more resounding note than that which emanates from the Royal Enfield Classic 350. Overall, levels of fit and finish are commendable by Hero standards because, let's face it, there currently isn't a motorcycle of this quality that has ever rolled off a Hero production line. But it still manages to fall short to something compared to the Royal Enfield Classic 350. Features wise, you get a pretty decent amount of standard kit on all 3 X440 variants, like the auto headlamp illumination, the all LED lighting, then there's that nicely laid out 3.5-inch TFT screen, dual channel ABS, and the conveniently located USB port as standard too. What separates the top end model from the other 2 variants below it are its Bluetooth or app connectivity features and a couple of more screen options like turn-by-turn navigation. Then you have stuff like the 3D tank badging, the alloy wheels, the bronze-coated finish on the engine, and mechanically, all 3 variants of the X440 are identical, and that's the best part.
Now, after taking a couple of laps out here at the Hero MotoCorp CIT, well, first thing right off the bat, what impressed me the most was obviously that single-cylinder 440cc air and oil-cooled engine, 27 PS of max power, around 38 Nm of max torque, really spread out nicely along the 6 cogs that you have to work with. And the chassis, the whole dynamics, the package, well, as a whole, it really falls into place really well. If you're riding slow, it's quite comfortable. If you want to give it a gas, get on the throttle quite hard, well, this motorcycle manages it very well.
There's a good amount of torque low down the band, which is great for city riding because, well, you won't be shifting gears ever so often. And out at highway speeds, what got me was this motorcycle's level of refinement and composure. Around 100 kmph in 6th at 4000 rpm, well, it just felt flawless, with minimal vibrations. But then again, vibes slowly began to creep in north of that mark. But it never felt overly intrusive, matter-of-factly, and the sheer willingness of this motorcycle not only to push to the 6500 rpm redline, but also to execute any maneuver that you have in mind while carrying a good amount of speed is simply commendable to say the least. Here, I got to test the new Harley out on Hero's high-speed and technical circuits out at the company's Center of Innovation and Technology in Rajasthan. And the X440 surprisingly proved highly impressive on both tracks. The Harley-Davidson X440 features a new tubular stream perimeter frame, a chunky 43mm upside-down KYB fork up front, and preload adjustable dual shocks at the rear. And Hero has done a fantastic job of not only keeping the bike's balance in check, but also its curb weight down to 190.5 kgs, and that's awesome when you consider all the metal bits over this machine, because this bike manages to hide the bulk and its weight just so brilliantly as soon as you set off. Handling is quite neutral, but very easy to get used to. And the way the suspension sinks in, there's MRF rubber, well, that really claws down in the corners. Well, let's just say that you will have fun and excitement definitely awaiting you as soon as you swing a leg over and you're ready to push the limits on this one.
Now the riding position, this motorcycle will make you assume, well, as you can see, quite comfortable, because for a roadster, as you would expect, nice flat wide handlebar, quite comfortable on the go. The nice 13-liter tank fits snug between your legs. The foot peg position also is quite relaxing, and it feels like a motorcycle that you can ride every day. So very comfortable motorcycle all throughout. And out here, well, on the slow speed tracks as well as the high speed tracks, I really like the performance of the front. That 43mm KYB dual cartridge fork up front held up really nicely, including the brakes. Well, the dual channel ABS standard on all three models, and the tires as well. Man, these MRFs really held up really nicely, no matter what the speed was, taking in the corners. The handling dynamics of this motorcycle, well, let's put it this way. If you like scraping your foot pegs, well, you will really have a ball in this one, because it really allows you to really go for it. And the way it's set up with the wheels, the brakes, the tires, man, it's really good, and you will have a real good time on this motorcycle.
All in all, the Harley X440 came across as more than just a pleasant surprise. But there's one undeniable fact that stands true with this motorcycle. If you hide away all those Harley-Davidson badges and Hero's part in its production process, well, what remains is still an impressive and fun to ride motorcycle. And the proverbial cherry on top out here, well, the pricing, which basically tells you that if you have the money to buy a KTM 250 Adventure, well, you can now afford a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, which would have sounded absolutely absurd a couple of years ago, but it's now truth.
Now, to sum things up out here with the Harley-Davidson, the X440. Well, given the price it's available at, starting off from 2,29,000 rupees, going up all the way to 2,69,000 rupees for this top-end variant. Well, all the features that it houses, all that it packs in terms of that nice engine, the lovely dynamics thanks to the chassis, the suspension, all work very well. But then again, we still have to check it out onto the road in the urban environment or natural environment to see how it fares. But yes, in terms of its packaging, there are some fit and finish levels that will leave you wanting a bit more, and its looks are subjective. But then again, this is a very surprising package, because it is unlike any other Harley-Davidson. It's not what you expect. Once you get astride this motorcycle, whether you like riding fast or slow, you will have a real good time riding this motorcycle at any speeds. And that's what I really appreciate about it. Given this price, it makes a very promising package.